a while, I'm thinking that this is my coach. That's all he does with coach football. But the reality, this man ran his own company called Edgar Construction Company. And he went on to say to me, he said, listen, you have great talent. And your talent can take you a long way. But someday, that talent will leave. Then what will you do? He said, do not put all your eggs in one basket. Learn to diversify yourself. He said, I promise you, your education will take you a lot further than any sport will. I said, okay. And I was inspired, and I wanted to be just like my coach. See, there's always somebody that a young person, and even some older people, are looking to. Warren Buffett right now would be a great inspiration for me. You know why? Because the man is in his 80s, and he's living like he's in his 20s. He's not retiring. He's expanding his mind. He's studying, exercising his brain to continue to grow. And it's not about the money, because he gives it all back. And I'm inspired by that. And if I can do the same thing, that's what I'm inspired to be. Just like I looked at Roger Staubach, I had to find somebody else off the football field to look at him also. And he's been one of my inspirations. Now, Charlie gave me that little bit of information. I took that with me and I started running with it. Because that's the way my focus was from that point on. I started thinking about what it is that I want to do. One day, I'm in the 8th grade. And I wanted to wear some designer jeans. And my mom could not afford it. And my mom says, I tell you what, if you go get your job, then you can buy whatever you want to buy. Within reasons. Within reason. I said, okay, I'm going to do that. And you better not say nothing. She said, I'm going to say something. That's okay. So she helped me get a job at a place called Magnolia Nursing Home. And in that nursing home, this is what I did. I did all the janitorial work. I mopped the floors. I helped the elderly people walk around with their walkers. I did some of the nasty things that you don't want to talk about. I cut the grass. I earned a living that summer. And I earned enough money to go buy my own school clothes. I was so proud of myself. And what made me more proud was my mom came to me one day and said, I need to borrow about $200. I was like, okay. I gave it to her. It felt so good to give because she had given so much to me. Now she said she was going to pay me back. I'm still living for the $200. But to this day, she gave me a lot more than $200 to me. She gave me a lot to stand upon, a lot to be proud of, and a lot to just take with me so I can pass it right down to my kids as well. But those lessons are some of the things that remind me constantly of who I am. And not only who I am, but who helped shape me into the person that I was starting to become. Now, I turned in the 9th grade, I run into a guy by the name of Dwight Thomas. Great coach. Superb coach. Well-organized, very disciplined, focused man, committed man. Wanted his football players to become young men. And he always would say this, guys, this game is bigger than just a game. This is the game of life. I want y'all to become great men, great daddies, great fathers and husbands and so on. That's what he used to say to us all the time. And one of the things he made us do, he made us he got us a 4x8 mirror and told us put it in our locker every day. He said, every day you come in your locker, I want you to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself the fundamental questions. Am I doing everything in my power to help this team become better? Am I doing everything in my power to make me a better football player? And if your answer is yes, then the third question would be, can I do more? If the answer is no, you need to get on your job because you won't be on this team for long. He also said this, men is only a dream until you write it down and then it becomes a goal. When I was 7, I wasn't writing down goals. I just had this vision of what I wanted to do. I wanted to become a professional athlete. I wanted to play for the Dallas Cowboys. It wasn't a goal at that time. It was a dream. But then I saw the steps that I needed to take in order to achieve my ultimate goal. But I'm going to just say this. Just because you set a goal and you achieve it doesn't mean that that's the end. That's a new beginning. A new beginning to the next phase or the next step or the next, pretty much the next phase of your life. Set new goals, set new standards, set new heights. Don't ever rest on those moments that you have achieved. And don't just look back and say, look what I've done. Because that's what you did. But you have so many more days ahead of you. And that's what I was starting to learn. Now, when Dwight came to our high school was terrible. I mean, Coach, we absolutely was garbage. We probably won maybe 5 games in 2.5, 3 years. So he came and cleaned house, just like Jimmy did in 1990 or 89. Hey, Dwight cleaned house, and he didn't do it forcefully. This is what he did. One day, there was 26 seniors. And he told them, he said, listen, guys, here are my rules. If you break these rules, you're gone. Senior skip day, and these were juniors, going to senior skip day and skipping school. He told them not to do it. They did it. He kicked all 26 off. So here we are. I'm a freshman. And he was a guy that really didn't want to start freshmen on varsity. But he started me and a guy by the name of John Brady. We went 7-3 that year. Didn't make the playoff. Didn't even really understood what the playoff was all about. Then my sophomore year, we went 12-2. We won state. Got a taste of what sweet victory is all about. But he also taught me a very valuable lesson one day. One of these days, after one game, I had a nice game. I'm going to just say nice, not a big game, but a nice game. And afterwards, and he was a guy that generally would not allow his players to talk to the media. But the media was hounding him. Dwight, can we talk to the kid? Please, can we talk to him? And Dwight said, okay, I'm going to give y'all a shot. Now, granted, I had no media training whatsoever. So here's a new experience for me. So here I am having this conversation with this group of media people in Pensacola. They're asking me these questions, the probing questions. And when you're dealing with the media, they have the tendency to ask questions according to the story that they want to write, not according to the way they want to give the answer. So they have a way of just taking a quote and sliding it right into their story and making it seem like their story is exactly how you feel. That's not the case. But this is what I learned. They said, Emmitt, well, you had a great game. How was you able to do that? Well, you know what? I was able to do this. I was able to make a cut here, make a cut there, and make a guy miss and go for the touchdown. Well, what did you do on this play here when you caught the pass? Well, when I caught the pass from John, I made a guy miss and I took off. It was a bunch of I. He didn't chastise me. But what he did was he put his arm around me and said, listen, son, every chance you get, you share the spotlight with your teammates. He said, because you didn't hand the football to yourself and you didn't block for yourself. I'm like, okay, coach, I got it. And so Monday comes around and we're in practice. I got this. He says, first team defense and first team offense. I'm like, okay, it's about to be on now because I know ones over versus ones. It's about to be on. So I'm over there and say, hut, I take off running. My whole offensive lineman lay down. Defense clobbered me. I got up saying, coach, I got it. I understand. See, humility is something that we all must have.